Ever have an idea and your mind is flowing with thoughts, the relationships with other ideas, and the results you can picture in your mind? How do you quickly capture those ideas in a manner you can put together and produce desirable outcomes? Whether you're a project manager, systems and software engineer, or someone writing a book or documentary, you can drive your ideas using the Unified Modeling Language, or UML. Think of this as model-driven intelligence. In this episode, we're going to talk about brainstorming practices in Sparx Enterprise Architect. So let's get started. So what is the definition of brainstorm? In the industry, it is a noun and is defined as a spontaneous group decision to produce ideas and ways of solving problems. As a verb, it means to produce an idea or way of solving a problem. However, as an individual, you can brainstorm as well. I tend to think of brainstorming as a creative thinking technique for coming up with new ideas and solving problems. So what are some good approaches for brainstorming? The best starting approach is using mind maps. Whether using central topic, main topic, topics, or subtopics, you can extend these elements into scenarios and build activity diagrams, sequence diagrams, and more. You can even test your scenarios, all of which are auto-generated models. Then each of these elements can be extended as well, even related to other mind maps, exercises, and groupthink to any level of details, even design and code development. Most, if not all, elements can be used to journal, discuss, review, and collaborate. Next, let's step through some basic practice concepts. So for mind maps, dump ideas before relationships. Use unique names for all elements. For example, a registration fraud, login fraud. This helps to create a namespace for the topics. If not creating a unique name for the element, be sure to add the namespace in the description or notes. For example, login : fraud. You can also go to the element browser and copy node path to clipboard, then paste into notes. Another good practice is to use list view and add stereotype from field chooser if it's not already present. I tend to add my relationships or connectors only after element comments or notes. Another good practice is to use the specification view for supporting and managing notes and intelligence relevant to the mind map elements. Use namespaces for main topics after initial mind dump. This helps to reduce clutter, chaos, and confusion when brainstorming. Another great practice is to add and link a use case diagram under the central topic. This helps in focusing on the system or systems, actor and actors, and relationships. Note to use the main topic name as the use case name. Next, let's get into scenario building practices. Every mind map element, every element in Sparx for the most part, have the ability to build on scenarios. Build starting scenario or scenarios at the central topic first. From here, if needed, add scenarios to main topics and so on. Scenarios can be extended to create activity diagrams. They can create sequence diagrams, and they can create test cases to validate and test your scenarios and other objectives in brainstorming. As stated earlier, good practices for brainstorming include adding linked documents, use case diagram types to your particular brainstorming exercise. And you can do this at each one of your main topics so that you can focus on specific use cases to drive your brainstorming objectives. Mind mapping is the perfect place to start requirements development. So as each element is being brought in, you can start your requirements development exercises, manage the metadata relevant to it, and then come back and extend more. And this can be done at any particular element level. So if you go into properties on a use case element, you're able to access requirements and get started on requirements at the use case level, at the mind map level, or any other element type in Sparx. I want to make sure it's clear that any element type allows you to build on requirements, build on scenarios, add research and development, set your constraints, understand your links and relationships, and much more. All right, we're going to wrap up now. Thanks very much for watching. In summary, I use mind maps to start brainstorming our objectives, regardless of what the topic is. You can extend your elements into use cases and other diagram types as you're brainstorming and thinking. But be sure to be clear and concise when naming and describing your elements as you go. Iterate through your diagrams, as you see here, and elements to expose as much thinking as possible. And in the next episode, we're going to get into practices relevant to working with multiple open Sparx instances, projects, if you will, within the same desktop experience, whether you're local or you're on a SQL server or servers. You may be brainstorming in one instance while delivering in another, and yet another one is your asset repository that's open, your knowledge management Sparx instance that's open, and so on. Post any questions or concerns that you have down below. I look forward to getting into the next episodes in this series on modeling practices. And until that next episode, happy modeling.